Originally this was going to be the final boss, the gold bad, but I figured it would be too big of a skill leap. So first I want to cover the basics of Monobehaviors. In this case, this bad was coded to continuously grow in size, using a monobehavior that controls its scaling. I included the monobehavior template in boss handler, which only has one property included, which is the boss itself. In order to start one, you can use this method I included, start monobehavior, which simply attaches it to the game UI, which doesn't really matter where it's attached to, as long as the component is always active. So when it's created, it'll send the one property .boss to balloon, and it only works if it's the gold bad using this if statement. So you can see here within there's a method called start. This runs as soon as the monobehavior is created, and update, which runs every single frame. And here is the code that just makes the boss keep increasing in size. But let's say I want to do something different. Let's say the boss's rotation is equal to the boss's percentage through the track times 1000. So this variable here is a percentage the balloon is through the track. It's used for things like Elite Defender's weight bonus. You can see here the boss is rotating as it moves along the track. If I slow down the game, the rotation rate decreases since the boss isn't traveling as quickly. So the first thing I'm going to be doing for this boss is I'm going to make it gradually speed up. First I'm going to reserve the spinning effect to only be if the boss is retreating. So I'm going to put in false. And instead so if the boss is retreating, it's going to do this effect, but I'm going to go to that later. But first, this variable I put here, time scale. This is whether or not the player is in fast forwards. So I want to make sure the speed increase scales with the regular gameplay rate. So first I want to put a forward speed. That way the speed of the boss will gradually increase. And set that to the speed multiplier. Okay, you can see the boss is starting to pick up speed. Let's say I want to make the speed effect more visible. I'm going to just increase it by a small amount, and now I'm going to make use of the extra info on the UI. So I'm going to pass through the registration information into the monobehavior. Now that I added this behavior, do template mono.boss equals balloon, and I can also do mono.registration equals registration. So now the registration is in the mono behavior, so I can work with it. So registration.extra text equals speed. Speed multiplier -1. I just want to increase from the base because 1 is just the base scale. And then times, let's see, 100 plus %. So this should display the increase once it's rounded. So So I just round this to an integer and run this. Here we have the boss, and now you can see there is a percentage increasing in the UI. This is because the variable is, well, increasing. So now you can see the boss is getting really fast. I want the boss to retreat when it's defeated rather than being popped. So I'm going to implement a fake health pool. So the way this works is I set two variables, the fake health and the fake max health, and then set those to a copy of the balloon's max health by default. And because it's going to be changing the UI health, I have to set the health override to true. I explained fake health in part 2, but now I'm actually going to implement it. So first I'm going to set the registration, the fake health, to fake health, fake max health, fake max health. Now each time the boss's health is less than max health, then it's going to check the difference between the two, and then it's going to deplete the fake health accordingly. And then it's going to just reset the boss's health to normal. So the boss will appear to be losing health because it's being depleted from the fake health, when really the boss has the same health. You can see how this looks in game. I'm going to spawn the boss. It looks like it has 10,000 out of 10,000 health, but when we deplete it, I think you can stop. It's already dead. Yep, it just keeps going. Using math.max, I can prevent a negative value by making it choose between two values, 0 or fake health. Whichever one is larger becomes the value of fake health. So under any condition, it can't go below 0. So now I added the logic for retreating. First off, if the health is depleted on a fake health pool, and his boss is not retreating, then it'll set a retreat timer to 300, which is a variable I set in the Monobehavior. And then if the retreat timer is above 0, the boss's retreating property will be set to true, while the timer decreases. It depletes depending on the speed of the game by using get the time scale. And then if the timer is fully depleted, it'll reset by setting it back to false, and fake health will be reset back to fake max health. Also, it's also not retreating if the timer is above 0. So I mean if the timer is below 0, then just not retreating. And then if the boss is retreating, it'll run all three of these lines. Boss moves backwards, and then it also rotates accordingly, and then this I just need to put this here to get the rotation to work. Now if you were able to follow through with what I was doing, spawn the boss should start its timer for retreating the moment its health is depleted to 0. So shoot a bit, and the boss is retreating. Up, and it reset. Now I want the speed multiplier to also be reset, and also its health needs to be doubled according to the original plan for the boss. So I'm going to implement that now. First off, I'm going to make the boss retreat a bit more. Make it go backwards a bit faster. And then when the boss's health is reset, make max health times equals 2. And then this will also be set to the same value, so that should be fine. And the speed multiplier equals 1. Actually, I don't need to put this here. I can just copy from timescale. So let's do that. It was defined above. Now, the boss is defeated after 5 defeats. So I added the defeat counter. Let's say if the defeat counter equals 5. Then I'll start. So here the boss actually gets destroyed, but I'm gonna put this at the very end so it doesn't cause any errors, because I don't want like any of the other stuff breaking because the boss was removed. Next test. Health is gone. Boss is retreating. Oh, it's coming back. Now there's 20,000 health. Let's speed up. Damage. 40,000 health. A bit more. How was that one? Now this is when I'm making the final boss, which is going to be after this one. This is going to be like a transition phase. Like the boss is just refusing to die, so it has to take on a larger form. But that's going to be for part 4. Not sure how many people are actually following along with this tutorial. Maybe some people just want to see the process for making these bosses. This boss is likely going to have much higher health than the final product, since this is supposed to be for around 80, but the health was reduced from base for testing purposes. Okay, the boss is gone. Okay, it's time. It is time for the final fight.